Hey everyone, it is Marie here from Skeins. It is day 6 of the quarantine diaries here at Skeins. Tuesday, 31st of March, end of March, last day for many businesses today in terms of getting financial things squared away. And it is here we are, day 6. I've got a bit to talk about today. Many of you saw yesterday that we had permission from IMBY to reopen our web store, and I want to discuss that in a little bit more depth. And then we're going to talk about the new theme in the Skein Speakeasy, and I'll announce some winners for that tomorrow. And also, too, we're going to cover off some more projects and things that we're doing. The first thing I need to admit is I did not get any knitting done yesterday. None whatsoever. So my great hope to be able to show you some colour work in the Rambler sweater that I'm working on did not happen. There was a very good reason for that, and that is because of the activity around our reopening for the web store. The first thing I want to do is to thank everybody that took the time to send us a personal message of support yesterday. And there were many, many of you that have done that. And I know between Claire and myself, we've been working through trying to acknowledge and thank as many of you as we can. That you have no idea how much we appreciate that. Because when you're being yelled at as a business, and called out by a certain faction of our community, which is an ugly side of our community. It's those messages actually for us that are very, very important. And we have, as a business, I'm just one faction of that business. And as a business, we work really, really hard to be a business that operates with integrity. It operates within a boundary that is something that is important to us, that means that we operate an ethical, good, wonderful business. And you know, there are elements out there, and unfortunately the knitting community is full of them, where judgment bases are made from different people. And for us, over the last year, we have been pretty much under attack fairly constantly by certain factions within our community. We talk about it very rarely. I don't go out publicly and beat my chest over it. I don't engage with a lot of these people either online, in social media, or other forums. We try to just carry on and do what we do, which is providing yarn and services to the people that need them most. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover off a little bit more around how we came about to get our certification with IMBY, because there has been our integrity has been pulled into question about this, and it's been pulled into question by individuals. It's been pulled into question by actually other yarn-based businesses, and that's not okay. We contacted IMBY like many other businesses do, and we are quite unique. We contacted them because we're unique in the sense that not only do we supply members of the public, but we also supply a lot of organisations. We supply schools, we supply hospitals, we supply charities, we supply maternity units, we supply non-government organisations. We also supply aged care facilities, mental health charities. The list goes on. A number of those businesses are actually on the essential services list. And there are a number of people associated with those businesses or organisations that, like all of us, are struggling at the moment. And one of the elements in which we were able, I think, to fall into the criteria, and there were a lot of things that we needed to meet, was around providing products and essential services back to especially those that are on their own. A large number of those are in aged care facilities, or people who in the 70 plus group who are locked down at home, cut off from friends, family, other support, and they don't necessarily have the skills or the access to be able to jump online or get online to us in the quick amount of time that they had last week. And these are also the people that don't hold stashes at home. They knit project to project. And for them, their craft is actually something that provides them solace, it provides them comfort, and it's actually very, very important and essential to them. We received a lot of inquiry from those people, a lot of inquiry for those caring for those people, that how could we help them? By reopening our web store, it now means that if we've got family members who are now able to order on behalf, and we are able to deliver to those people. We're able to work with rest care facilities to help facilitate getting orders to residents who are cut off from their family, their friends, their loved ones, and actually help give them solace. We've got other charities who generally have their own distribution measures that they can move to their volunteers and groups, but in these times they cannot. Most of those are physically based. They either distribute to groups or distribute personally, and in this lockdown they're unable to. We're actually able to provide a service and help get yarn out to those people in a centralised, safe location. These are some of the criteria that in the case that we put towards MB in order to be able to open. If you've got stash at home and you feel that you don't need to be getting any yarn from us, then don't purchase. We don't expect you to. We don't necessarily want you to. In fact, I've been here on the Quarantine Diaries working really hard, encouraging you to actually knit what you've already got at home. That's what we're doing, all as a staff. And that's what we continue to encourage you to do. In terms of our safety, and the people that we are putting at risk, as we've been accused of in the last 24 hours. Again, this was something that we had to cover off at length as part of this permission. The person that all of us are working remotely. We have one person who is working in the warehouse, the wonderful Damien, and in fact, I've asked him to send me a selfie just to make sure he is okay. He works within, he is quarantining within walking distance from our warehouse. That warehouse has now been extended as part of his bubble. The criteria for that is he is the only person that is allowed to enter that bubble. I can't go there, Claire can't go there, none of the others can go there, because that is now Damien's domain, his bubble, to actually take care of those products and get those out to you. He is working there by himself. The rest of us are working remotely. He is then also able to pull everything together and actually work with our courier firm. We would never have done this or applied for this without the full blessing of our courier provider. They assured us that they would continue to be able to deliver and that they would have no problems in making sure that yarn would be able to get to you. There is potentially delays at this time, and they ask to be patient in that respect. And they also ask, as they did before the level got increased, that they would move to non-contactless deliveries. They also have non-contact pickups. Damien does not come into physical contact with our driver when he comes to collect, and when your driver in your local area delivers to you, there will be no contact there at all. So the chance of transmission is almost zero. In terms of the stock that we're holding, we're not ordering stock in from outside sources. The stock that we will be selling is what we have currently in our warehouse. We do have some stock that arrived just before the level was increased to level 4 that we haven't had a chance to place up, and we will be doing that for you while we're away. But at the moment, what we have available is what is online. So we apologise that there are a number of out of stocks in there, and we appreciate that, because we have had the Epic sale this month. Now, the good news with that is many of you have yarn left from Epic sale, so you've got tons of stuff to get on with and loads of yarn to knit. But for those that are new to us, who have just found us, just discovered us, have not been able to shop normally, have not necessarily shopped online for yarn before, welcome. We'd love to have you. And if you're at home or you're needing to get some yarn to help you through this time, or teach children to knit, or send to a loved one who is isolated, we have that service for you. So it hasn't been very nice. It's just not. And for those of you who have been very nasty and negative, both on our social media pages here on Facebook, the Speakeasy and the like, you may have noticed that they have been removed and those posts have gone. We know who you are. The posts were removed because a number of you are bullies and trolls who have been bullying and trolling us for either many months, or if not, at least the best part of a year. Stop. You're not being caring. You're not being kind. We're actually all in this together as a community. And all you're doing is just spreading hate. And it's not welcome right now, because this is a time that we need to come together. And we have done as a business, and both me personally as a business and the event that I've run, I've done nothing but support New Zealand businesses, New Zealand artisans, and other yarn businesses tirelessly. And to have my integrity dragged through the mud by these people, you know, it hurts. And it's not okay. So if you really, truly believe in what it is that we're trying to do, we welcome you here and we love to see you here. If you do not, feel free to look elsewhere, to those that you believe are supporting the industry the way it should be. That is quite okay. But what we will not be tolerating from now on is your negativity within our communities. I need to keep those communities safe for the people who want to be there for friendship, for love, for support, and for community. That's what we're about. So I am not going to go on about this anymore. I am quite proud of myself because I have not managed to cry. But I just, again, want to reiterate to all of those that sent positive messages of support. And believe me, they outweighed. I actually added them up at 3 o'clock this morning because I was wide awake thinking about this. They outweighed the negative 5-6 to 1. And boy, we do, and you know, we do appreciate it. We really, really do appreciate it. You mean so much to us, and we're just really pleased that we're here for you. And we'll continue to be here for you until, you know, we're unable to. And if we have to stop, if things, because it is now no longer safe for us to continue doing what we're doing, gosh, we'll do that too. I also need to thank the really fantastic team that I spoke to at IMBY. They were actually wonderful. If you are another business that believe that you have that a service, contact them. That's all I did. I contacted them and I had a conversation. So enough of that, because I want to talk about some really positive stuff, because that's what I'm here to do today. And the positive thing has been, it has been great to see what you guys have been posting over on the Speakeasy. And boy, there has been some knitting from stashes, and that has been wonderful. And the other thing that I have loved seeing is the creativity around what you can do with what's in stash, and also the tidying that has gone on and the reorganization that has gone on in a number of stashes. I have to admit, one of my favorites, Jocelyn, the button sorting. You are a brave lady, because I have to admit, I'm one of those people that has one of those massive big button jars, and every time I try to dive in there to find a button, I think I really do need to sort these out, and I never do. So good. I have to admit, you might inspire me to get out and do that. I thought that was just wonderful. It's also been great to see a number of the COVID blankets that have popped out. I know temperature blankets are often been really popular for people in previous times, but there's a whole number of COVID blankets of people pulling together using scraps and little bits and pieces to knit either mitered square blankets or little crocheted blankets and the like, and to actually pull those together and have them ready for charities or themselves when the time is right to be able to get those those redistributed. So it's been really great to see those, so keep them coming. Yes, as I said, I would love to have been able to show you some colour work in my Rambler sweater today. And yes, so I was kind of a bit preoccupied with other things last night. And if I'm entirely honest with you, once I did get to the point where I needed to close down apps and stop reading things because it would just upset me too much, 1 or 2 glasses of wine may have been consumed, and therefore the ability to successfully launch into some colour work, that opportunity may have actually passed. So I am going to really jump into it and get into it today because I'm not too far off. I'm only about half a dozen rounds, I think, before I start heading into some colour work. So I'm really wanting to get that done today. What else have I got coming? Oh, actually, the other thing I did do today is that, and I'd actually pulled this out to talk about, and I'll possibly go into it a little bit more tomorrow, but in terms of knitting from stash, and I think I may have shown this in a video last year, but I just wanted to show you this. I pulled this out from down by the side of my chair. And this is a poncho. I did an Albertine poncho last year before last, and then also redid that poncho using other stash yarns at the end of last year, inspired by Stephen. And then this was started after that, again using stash yarns. And I mean, to show you what I'm talking about, I had the main yarn used in this is a Malabrigo, which I have there, which I've had in stash for a number of years. And I don't know about you guys, but if you have got yarns in stash, or if you've got stuff there, I get the opportunity to travel, and I'm very lucky with that, and through business, and I don't necessarily buy souvenirs of when I go away, but what I do tend to buy is yarn. So for me, I will buy yarn from certain cities or stores which will remind me of the visit that I have there. And this is a classic case in point. So I have 2 yarns here which are both Barocco yarns, which I bought from a store in the US 8 years ago. Acrylic blend. I know, don't fall off your perches that I have a non-completely natural yarn, but I mean, look at those colours. It was the colours that sucked me in. So I've had them in stash for a very, very long time. I've got this little nugget here, superfine mohair, which I have had in stash, I think probably from the second unwind, which I picked this up in a swap shop, and that is a superfine brush kid mohair. I've got this here, which is a weaving yarn, sort of twisted gash hank that we get from time to time. We play around with different things in the mill, and this was something, I think I had some of these. In fact, if you came to Creative Fibre last year in Palmerston North, I think I had a whole heap of these. As you can see, the colours all sitting there. Homespun. And this is quite old homespun. This was before I was, spinning as this, but it's a little bit more on the effect yarn side as of the more consistent yarn side. This is when I was still learning, playing around, but again, all those lovely blue colours. And it's about seeing a theme, pulling them together, playing around with them. But it's actually a really fun way to use some of these yarns and do something fun and interesting and creative. It sort of makes you, it sort of challenges yourself for your creativity. So that is my other sort of project. I'm going to finish the Rambler sweater, but I'm quite determined. Oh, and I've actually got, look, even a bit of Lurex, which I'm mixing in. What are you binging on from your stash at the moment? What sort of things like that are you playing around with? And where am I leading with this? Well, of course, I'm leading with this is for our theme for the Skein Speakeasy. And it's actually funny. Last year, April last year, we had the theme was binge worthy, and the more I looked at that, and I thought, well, actually, in a way, I think binge knit or binge knitting, or even just binge. What are you binging on? Are you binging from stash? Are you knitting up those unicorn yarns? Are you playing around and making a blanket? Are you watching some really trashy TV while you're doing your knitting? Listening to an audiobook? Uh, Mucking around and playing with binge baking and recipes and the like. We want to hear about it. We want to see what you're up to. We want you to share with us those things in the Skein Speakeasy, and there might be something there that will actually help inspire somebody else. So share us what your binge is. That starts from tomorrow. I'm going to make a nice little tile and outline everything there for you. I'm going to do that once I'm done here. But we thought that actually is a really, really nice thing. It's open up your homes and take a photo of what it is that you're up to and share it with everybody. I think that would be loads of fun. Also coming up this week, I am going to hopefully catch up with Charles Gandy, not tomorrow, but the following day. I've been talking to Charles, and for those who don't know Charles, I had Charles at Knit August Nights 3 years ago now. He is utterly delightful. He is one of the foundation members of the Master of Knitting in the USA, and I thought we could talk a little bit about that. He also is a master of being able to knit and work on projects whilst living in a very small and confined space. If you don't follow Charles, Charles actually lives in a Gulf Airstream trailer called Pearl, and he has had to sort of downsize quite significantly into that. That's how he's chosen to live with his retirement, and it has given him some flexibilities and freedoms, but it's also had to change the way he knits and plans and does his projects, and I thought it would be really fun to talk to Charles about that. We're going to catch up with Ethan again on Saturday, and I've also been talking to Stephen B, and he is itching to come and join us probably next week to see what we're doing over here, what we're knitting. And if you have a chance to follow Stephen, he is at home in Minneapolis, and he will share some of the things that he's been doing during the lockdown over there. So I'm going to leave it there today. Thank you for all the support. I'm just going to quickly jump through here because I haven't been looking at these. Hey, look, thank you everybody for all your support. It really genuinely means so much to us. It does. And it means a lot to the team. And we are a really close-knit team. And we work, for us to be separated from each other is really tough, because we are like a family. And to know that we have your support is really, really important. So thank you. And we do really appreciate it. So as I said before, if you do have people that are struggling and they are at home and and you are worried for them, and I know a number of our people have parents who are separated from senior parents, elderly parents who can't access. This was part of the reason why we opened, is to allow them to be able to get access to yarn at this time when they are on complete lockdown. So that service is now available. So tomorrow we're going to talk about, I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I'm going to get on and do some baking today. We'll get some recipes. We'll talk about some binge knitting. I might even hunt out some tally, see if I can find something interesting for us to share and watch. But until then, take care. Thank you again for all your support. And I will talk to you again 11 o'clock tomorrow. Bye.